No. Wait. If you're having sex with a pregnant woman and the baby grabs your dick, that's considered a threesome and you can be arrested. Welcome, everybody, to the 4th episode of the X-Cows podcast. Today we are joined with a special guest, Mr. Senor David.
Hola, Senor David. Ahorita.
I am Tom.
I'm Brooke.
I'm Oscar.
I'm Tyler.
So, David, I know how big of a fan you are about certain cultures and the ladies and a lot of wooing and
What's the question?
the
Shoot.
dance. Have you heard of Brooks Theme Park?
No, is it like some sort of raunchy theme park?
It is.
She threw us a business idea, and we're looking for investors.
Raunchy theme park. Okay, so is it like a strip club theme park,
No.
or is it like a whorehouse theme park?
Oh, you, David. It is a BDSM theme park.
Brooke, why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
Sorry, it's a what? Yeah. Explain it.
Okay. It's a BDSM theme park. Originally, we were talking about our utopias, but we realized that this was more suited for one of the other utopias that we discussed, and I could have a theme park and it would generate a lot of revenue for somebody else's utopia. So it's a BDSM theme park, which with different factions for different kinks. You can go do whatever you want, and the currency is sexual acts, and it's fantastic. No kink shaming allowed.
Not specifically either. It was more like vouchers, right?
Vouchers.
It was, well, we landed on vouchers. I started with a blowjob for an orange, but Oscar pointed out that might be a little steep of a price. So
There could be a Florida embargo.
Right.
That is a really steep price. Hey, we might be giving out blowjobs for oranges pretty soon here, given the price of everything. But
I mean, have you seen what happened to Venezuela? I think we're
Yeah.
heading that way. Yeah.
Dude, are you kidding? Yeah, we're totally heading that way.
It's like the perfect.
Hyperinflation.
Yeah, that's
Perfect
like the.
storm. Commodity supply shock from Russia.
Yes.
I hate to
Wait, supply
kind of-
shock or supply shortage?
Supply shock. We have a shock. We sanctioned them, so it's not a shortage. It's an immediate supply shock of. Just to let you guys know, Russia produces 8% of the world's aluminum, 10% of the world's nickel, 40% of the world's palladium, 14%
Palladium.
Yeah, 40%
Interesting.
of the world's palladium. If you take a look at the price of palladium, it has skyrocketed.
It's outperformed like gold and silver like the last 5-10 years.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
basically, hate to commandeer this, but really quick, I just want to mention this isn't like a war that we had with Iraq. If we start going in deep with Russia, we are in for some serious shit. This is not like bombing dirt cities in the
And
middle.
that's not
of
even
Russia.
including the nuke aspect of it. This is just
And that's
economic.
that's just the economic aspect. So sorry, hate to commandeer that. away
Not
from
at
the
all.
theme
Not at
park.
all. I personally think we're not going to go to war with Russia, but that's just me. That's just me. He has such
I don't-
resistance from within right now.
I hope y'all have your little blowjob coins ready.
Oh, right. Yep.
Wait, is that your silver?
It's just a little tiny stash of it.
Let me show you my new bar.
We
I
all
showed-
had it out. We were all sharing our
Yeah, we were all
rare
sharing
medals
our.
before while we were waiting.
I just love
maybe
the.
you and
the
I are
design on
screwed.
them.
Oh man,
This one has a sick design.
I don't have any precious.
America.
do you store them like in not even a safe place, but just a place where it doesn't oxidize?
No, I just have them in my room.
Because my bar started to oxidize because they were right next to my computer case.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You just gotta polish them. Do you live in a humid area that has a high, water?
It was not too humid.
We'll believe
Okay.
it.
I've never said that before,
Oh,
have
really?
I? Oh no, we've said
We've said it
SoCal
dozens
before.
of times. Yeah.
Oh my
SoCal.
God, it's
SoCal's
not like
fine.
it hasn't been
We've
used.
said SoCal. We've never said the
People
name.
have figured it out, probably.
I hope not. We're in.
I'll believe that too.
We're in the
Right.
O's.
A little too close.
Wait, Tom, Are you back in the West also, or are you still in the East?
No,
Okay.
I am in the great state of, and yeah,
Well, that's gonna happen pretty soon, right?
they're gonna nuke me first for sure.
Oh, they're definitely gonna. Well, they can't really reach you with a nuke yet. So
Yeah.
if anything, they're gonna nuke Pearl Harbor and then
I
Alaska.
thought you said neuter for 2 seconds, and I
Oh.
was very confused.
Basically the same thing.
Well,
They're
Tom would
Russia's
go
gonna tie me
through.
down.
I don't think Tom would die immediately. He would I think that would be the area of like Fallout. So that's what he would
We
have
would
to worry
die.
about.
Yeah.
Very quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure in all the simulations they don't land impact anywhere. They all that I'm offshore, and then the coastal breeze will just pull it in and just drag a giant like carpet of clouds across the entire thing that just
I don't know. Have you seen
dust
these
everybody.
like the simulations from like 2 years ago? Like all these. I mean, they do simulations all the time, but just the animations of them, they hit major cities.
Oh,
They
absolutely.
just
They
do
have
that
to.
to scare people because people don't think that Fallout can kill you. They're like, I can survive Fallout. I'll just wear a mask like COVID. I don't know. But no, I haven't seen
I've
it. But
played
Well,
video games before.
In Fallout, just stay inside for 7 days, and that should take care of it.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, you're not wrong,
I
Oscar.
know someone that's a real expert in like this. I'll bring them in later. But I think it's only 2 or 3 days for the alpha particles to settle.
Yeah, and it has a half-life of like 50% each day or something. So
For
yeah,
the alpha, yeah. Alpha
You know, I
particle.
didn't even realize that nuclear bombs are like less dangerous than like Chernobyl, but they are. Like, you know, like Chernobyl causes a place to be inhospitable for hundreds of years. But if a nuclear bomb, like, you know, look at Nagasaki and Hiroshima, they're doing just fine. There's nobody like
You have
experiencing.
to overturn the soil and you have to do a bunch of stuff, but it's all stuff you
Yeah, but
can
Chernobyl's
do.
still like completely
But
done.
I'm not gonna
you
grow
know?
a tail.
Yeah, no, that's mutation. That's different. You'll die from cancer before you mutate.
That would be
Your
really
offspring
for
would
me.
mutate.
well, that's
If you had
interesting.
new
The
That's-
ones that I have already, or like the new ones.
New ones,
New ones.
typically. I'm not a nuclear engineer, or I doubt they even cover that in that course. But
Liar.
I'm pretty sure that's how that works. Like there are some like deer with like 2 heads in Chernobyl, but those are ones that have like lived there for 80 years. They've drank some of the water. The mom was drinking water in the womb. Most defects like that are caused in the womb. Like if you're drinking alcohol, if you're smoking cigarettes, if you're taking weird medications, if you're having threesomes while the baby's in there, you know, like 2 dicks popping in there might cause the baby's head to get pushed in a little bit, you know. So like that's the kind of stuff.
I remember my
Hey.
first deer threesome.
Have like a really genuine question. You don't actually think that, do you?
No, it's okay. We all know that if you are having a threesome, or no,
With a deer.
no, wait. If you're having sex with a pregnant woman and the baby grabs your dick, that's considered a threesome and you can be arrested. We've had this talk before. That is how human anatomy works, Brooke.
We're
Yes.
cutting this off, right?
Yes,
Like, we're not.
absolutely
Okay.
not.
He's
No,
not
this
staying
is the
in.
podcast.
There's no way it can stay in there.
This might be a soundbite in the beginning.
Oh man.
Okay, so I want to hear what your guys' like opinion is on either sanctions on Russia, going to war with Russia, being involved with Ukraine at all. I want to hear kind of what your guys' opinions are.
We covered some of this in the last episode, but we can definitely
David didn't even listen to the podcast before he asked to be a guest on the
Well,
podcast.
I might be able to bring some new insight to the opinions because I frankly, I think people in the West are extremely uneducated about the Balkan states and the point of NATO.
Ooh. Tyler loves talking about the Balkan states.
I'm just
Interesting.
having a really hard time with this
I-
internet right now. It gives me so much for mine.
Get better
Um,
internet.
Someone call my mom.
I'm sorry about your internet, but supposedly we can't fix it anyway because of wireless networks and the way they
No,
are.
I told you that. That was just AT&T. I told you that like AT&T won't get better here, but
I don't think any of them would be better. I think with the whole radio tower there, I'll bleep it, that nothing will work because there's so much interference coming from that radio tower on the top of the hill.
you didn't even think that was a thing until we started talking about it more. You
Yeah, I didn't
the
think
radio
about
had
it.
anything to
No,
do with
that
it.
actually makes sense though.
Why don't you just switch your
Thomas,
your
that radio
wireless
tower has
band?
been there since we were in high school. How did
Yeah.
you not realize there was a radio tower?
I
at the top of
forgot.
that hill?
I forgot, but it messes up all the wireless signals. Like I had one for my car that I was playing like audio in, and I'd cross it every day from school, and it would have like 10 seconds where I couldn't, or my music would be like, nope,
Yeah,
not gonna
when you're
play.
like listening to the actual radio, when you go up over that hill, it just cuts out for.
And even my grandma's Wi-Fi on the same hill is also, and she pays a lot more now, and it's still awful. And we've had multiple like wireless TVs, like smart TVs, that the wireless capability on it would die after like a year. And we went through like 3 different TVs because
not just do
I
cable
don't know
then?
why.
That doesn't sound
I
like the
hate it.
radio tower. I'm
I
way
hate it.
closer to it, and we've never had that happen.
Oh, maybe I don't know. Maybe she just cheaper or getting
You just fucked up
refunds.
the TV. It's
I
fine.
don't know. Maybe I did. Man, all that Skinamax or whatever.
My opinion on the sanctions is that the more involved we get, the more likely it is that we actually go to war.
So you don't think we should be involved?
So that I don't think we should be. I just think like you're right. I don't fucking know what I'm talking about, but like I think the more involved we get, the more likely it is that it turns into an all-out war.
You're right. I don't think we should be involved at all. At all. Not even in the slightest. Like, I don't think we should sanction Russia. I don't think we should send troops. I mean,
Well, the whole sending troops to like Poland to like help with refugees crossing over, and then help Germany deliver the weapons, like
sure.
or deliver. Well, they've talked about it.
Yeah,
They've
yeah,
talked
yeah, of course.
about doing that.
They are. That's what NATO and a lot, like, you have volunteers doing it right now, so it's not like the US military, but you have US people on the ground in Ukraine, not only fighting, but also doing the humanitarian services.
Okay, because I'm like, I didn't pay for that.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Oh wait, are you talking? Are you talking about
volunteers?
Volunteers. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My tax dollars saving Ukrainians?
They're definitely
Never.
deploying people over there
I'm
for
kidding.
sure.
No, they're white refugees.
in the
Thomas. We
states
like
around
them better.
at least.
Well, look, I listen to a lot of Jimmy Dore. I don't know if you guys follow Jimmy Dore at all.
I know who he
but
is.
he brings up a lot of really good criticisms. Hi, hello.
Jimmy Dore?
Jimmy Dore, yeah, he brings up a lot of really good criticisms about what the U.S. claims to be a dictator, right? Like we get our oil from the Saudi government, and it was only a couple of years
Only
ago that they killed an American journalist, and like we just look the other way, and you know, we're helping them fund basically a genocide in Yemen that they will never talk about on the mainstream media. So it's not like, it's like when we make Russia the bad guy, we fund bad guys all the time, and it's
as long as they're our bad guys.
As long as they're our bad guys,
Yeah.
you know, like Nicolas Maduro, the dictator from Venezuela. I think he's Venezuela, right? Maduro,
Yeah.
or is that, yeah. He was a dictator a couple of years ago, but now we need his oil because we can't get Russia's. So he's not a dictator anymore. Now he's a legitimate world leader. And that's the hypocrisy of the United States. And if you're going to support a war across seas in Eastern Europe in a country that you couldn't point out on a map until a couple months ago, you should at least know what's going on.
Exactly.
I just wanted to point out that we only get 1/6 of our oil from Saudi Arabia. That's like 15%.
Yeah, but a huge percentage.
But when you're talking about,
and also when we use the word genocide, we'll say alleged. They're fighting
alleged
rebels.
genocide. Yeah, well, we're supporting another war that we know nothing about. Let's put it that way.
We're just doing business, you know, just business.
Business.
Well, but the thing is, the American people don't agree with it until like the media like basically like
tells
gives
them
the
to.
okay. Exactly.
Yeah.
So like, what your point of view, Tom, is, I agree. Yeah, there's a cost of doing business. There's a cost for freedom, but the government, CIA, whoever, they don't let that be known. So they're tricking all the Americans just to like basically follow the sheep, follow the whatever the media message is.
When we were talking about it last time, and I was saying like the stuff that I saw on TikTok, and then Oscar brought up that like
it's all fake.
Yeah.
Some of it's from video games.
Yeah, the Ghost of Kiev, I think that was a video game.
Okay, just so you guys, for a little bit of background in like how incredible it is for like the claims of the Ghost of Kiev, only 5% of all fighter pilots ever in their entire careers ever achieve an ace, which is shooting down 5 enemy planes.
That's in
their
whole
entire careers. This guy allegedly did that
like
in
6
a day.
days, yeah,
or whatever, in like 2 days or something,
yeah.
dude. It's unbelievable, like literally unbelievable.
It was. Yeah, you're right. It was
rational.
2 or 3 days after the invasion started.
Yeah, so to me, I think that the Ghost of Kiev is just Western propaganda. Like everything else that we're seeing, we don't see any of the Russian side. You know, we don't see what the Russians are saying.
But here's the scary part is that even though you have a lot of people that are finally learning parts of the truth, at least, look at the majority of people. Look at all the virtue signaling in like all these different companies. You go on LinkedIn, like for example, if you're on LinkedIn,
we stand with Kiev.
There's no other opposition like message.
So I have a question in regards to the sanctions. How do we feel in regards to whether or not that could be considered an act of war? Because economically, Russia cannot sustain a push into Ukraine. currently with all of the sanctions that are upon them. And it's just
I think they can.
I think they can. Yeah, yeah. I agree with that.
Yeah, they're independent country. They own like 8 time zones of
They produce
country.
They produce 25% of the world's wheat.
I do think it's a form of war for sure. Because
It's a lesser scale, but yeah.
yeah, lesser scale for sure. It's not direct combat, but I mean, in
Remember
the end,
when Trump talked about the China trade war? That's like this, but a little bit more escalated.
right? That's true.
I wouldn't say that any sanctions is an act of war, though, because we've sanctioned hundreds of countries and other countries
Well,
have sanctioned other countries.
It's not an official act of war. Obviously, it's not like
it's
Congress saying like, "Oh, hey, we're officially at war." But
It's a
I
trade
mean,
war.
yeah,
Yeah, it's like a denunciation in civilizations. It's just you're expressing disapproval.
Yeah, but it's like so. I guess an equivalent would be like you seeing somebody tweet something racist, so you try to get them fired from their job. It's like a very similar kind of aspect. Like it's not
true.
fighting.
You're not fighting the
somebody.
person.
Yeah,
You're not
I
knocking
don't
them
like
out.
doing that. That's a bad thing.
that is a bad thing. I think that's a terrible thing. I think we should be able
Mhm.
to engage in discourse without ruining people's means of surviving.
Yeah.
I think letting their employer know exactly the type of person they hired isn't a bad thing at all.
Sure, but
But the thing
it's
is,
like,
like,
how
the reason why you
frame
say
it.
that, is because you're. Well, I'm just saying this in general. The reason why people say that is because they're in the current voice that's
Right.
accepted.
Yeah, they're
What
in the right.
happens? What happens when you're in the outcast group? And that can change at any point. Once you're in the outcast group, all of a sudden the new people, the new victims, I guess, or whoever, they're the ones that are now like sanctioning you by getting you fired or whatever.
What you're talking about, Oscar, is actually was back in like the 1960s. One of the ways that they tried to like show how fascism was bad in the Nazi Party. They had like videos of people like, "Hey, I agree with this guy. This group of people's bad," and then another guy would come up to him and be like, "Yeah, that group of people might be you in 5 years. You never know
Right.
which group of people is going to be bad."
And that's exactly what happened, right? Like, I mean,
Yeah,
I think I mean, obviously they started with the Jews first, but then they progressed.
Then they went to
the
gypsies and the gays.
gays.
And
Yep, exactly.
And a lot of these people were actually in favor of the Nazi Party at the time until they became the victims.
Everybody was, even people from other countries. They were the first
Exactly.
country to ban smoking. They were the most physically fit country. They invented cocaine before anyone else did. And they gave
That
it
by
to all their
itself makes
athletes,
them
and they won
angelic.
all the over half of the medals. No. Okay, that sounds bad, but it propped them up to be like the most fit country because they won the majority of medals for being such a small country. They were the first country to get out of the depression. No. I'm saying I'm explaining why people supported the Nazi Party way back in the day before it became what it was. I'm not saying, oh no, bad things happened. People,
see that's why you have to get away from extremism, and the reason why I guess a country can go into extremism is when the opposition voice is gone.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. The only way
they controlled the news, they had propaganda, Goebbels, they had everything.
It's all about the sheep. And by sheep I mean the normal people,
normies,
the normies, the ones that just are living life. They might listen to a few podcasts or a few like news stuff, and that's it. They go back to their normal stuff. Those people, those are the ones that dictate. And right now, like,
that's like 90% of people too.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, wherever they follow, if you eliminate the discourse from left or right, whichever way. I mean, what happened in China, right? I think they killed some political leaders in the 50s, right? The
Communist killed a lot of leaders.
Yeah,
right.
Like, which
but
one?
I'm not well read on it. That's why I'm asking.
I'm not well read on.
What I know is that they killed a lot of political leaders on well, I don't want to say the right, but I guess the right. They all fled to Taiwan.
The traditionalists, yeah.
And then yeah, exactly. They took it over, and then now the 95% of people now adhere to, that. Well,
allegedly,
more communist ideology before.
Yeah.
Well, I think we can get a clear idea on Chinese politics than we can on, like, for example, North Korean or even Russian, because China actually does a fuck ton of business with the US. And there's no way the US is ever going to sanction China or vice versa. But have you guys seen that they're moving to get rid of the petrodollar? They're trying to trade with the Saudis in yuan.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
That's a huge thing.
Yeah.
So basically what props up the United States dollar is that a lot of people, basically anybody who wants to buy their oil from the Saudis has to convert their money into US dollars first.
Yeah,
and then they
1950s
can buy
Act,
it.
right?
Yep, the 1950s Act. And in
Um,
return, we give them our military to do whatever they want in places like Yemen. So that's why we're okay with what's going on in Yemen.
We sell them weapons. Our military aren't bombing Yemen. We have
Exactly.
military bases.
But we don't
on
call
their
them we don't call
territory.
them dictators because they buy our oil in US dollars. But anyway,
I mean,
at
what point are we responsible for? At what point are we responsible for a lot of that? Because if they didn't have the technology to do that, then then they would have to. I mean, you talk about civilization, right? And this.
Yeah. Thomas, I didn't beat you up. I found a homeless guy on the street. I gave him a gun and a knife and a bulletproof vest and a helmet.
And you told him how to use it.
I taught him how to use it. And then he went to your house and he beat you up, but I didn't do it.
You didn't make him beat up the person. You taught him defense.
I could have.
That's all we've advocated for.
How about this? David knew of a person that had a vendetta against you, and he went towards that person.
Yeah, I knew somebody that already wanted to beat you up.
We've never had that strong relations with Yemen. We've had it with Oman. We've had it with Dubai.
That's not what we're talking about.
The relation is with the Saudis.
Right.
The relation is with the Saudis.
Okay, no. It's Iran that we're worried about because Iran's like this crazy, the crazy Ayatollah, and we had to, play both sides during the Iran-Iraq situation, and Iran is the biggest. Iran, whatever, is the biggest threat to the entire region.
Yeah, physical threat, but the biggest economic threat is Qatar and Saudi Arabia.
Now, but because they're such the big powers, we've kind of been helping them out a little bit, so that there isn't one superpower that rises and invades and goes full Nazi Germany in the Middle East, and then all of a sudden they have control over the entire Middle East again. If you look at the old biblical maps,
if they enter an alliance with Russia and China, if the Saudis enter an alliance with Russia and China, and they start trading oil out of Saudi, basically they're like the Rome of oil, right? So even they even get crude from places that aren't in Saudi, and they process it and then they sell it.
Yeah, so, we had OPEC back in the day that we had to deal with.
OPEC is going to be gone, dude. As soon as they start trading.
It'll be a new name of OPEC.
Yeah, it's gonna be
putting the pressure down on the U.S.
It's gonna be led by the Eastern powers. It's not gonna be led by the West.
Yeah, the treaty that America has with OPEC. That's just it, right? It's with OPEC. It's with that group. Once that group's no longer there, the petrodollar doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, and we're already experiencing massive inflation. If the petrodollar is gone, that's another hit to our economy.
I think that'll be the biggest hit. That's going to be the biggest
massive hit.
We've been printing way too much money for 70 years.
Yeah. And Jerome Powell, the Fed, they're propping up the stock market is what they're trying to do because they don't want people to panic. But this is panic time. We need to raise interest rates by 2% tomorrow. And we need to, it's going to destroy a lot of families, and people are probably.
Do you think they will?
Gonna go bankrupt.
Do you think the Fed will?
Absolutely not. No, absolutely not. That's their career. That's their career on the line. What I'm seeing is a slow bleed. Jerome, they increased the interest rate by 0.25% a couple of days ago, 1/4%. That's not going to do. We need our interest rates risen several points. We have 7.
I mean, at least the
aren't they already up like 7.8% since the beginning of the year?
What?
That's our inflation.
Or something along those lines.
That's our inflation.
It's not from the beginning of the year. It's year over year.
Year over year. Yeah, but our 7.8 is inflation. Yeah. And that's going to probably increase by the end of the year. We're likely to hit double digits inflation.
And that's 2022 calculations because they just changed it in January. So
right, they changed. That's the other freaking crazy thing. Thank you for hitting on that, Omar. So this is the other fucked up thing the Federal Reserve does.
It's Oscar.
Sorry, Oscar.
No worries.
You know this man. Yeah.
I saw Bricky's face. Sorry. Anyway, that's a very good point to hit on. They just changed the rules on how they calculate inflation. Like they did it, I think, in
70s.
In the 70s, also in the 90s, and then in the 2008 financial crisis. If I'm not
Nixon.
I don't know. I'm not sure on that, but
I think they might have done it. They might have done it one more time in like 2015, 2012, somewhere around that period.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they've done it multiple times for sure.
Yeah. So that's
if you calculate inflation the way they used to back in the 70s, I think it would be close to like, I don't know, 18% right now.
I think So I think we could talk all day about, inflation, where we're heading, predicting the
enough
future, gypsy.
And-
Uh,
enough about the precursor to like apocalypse.
Enough about World
stuff.
War III.
Yeah.
So something we like to toy with, David, is we're like, how if we were to make a micronation or a utopia or move to Alaska and connect all of our houses together with underground nuclear base tunnels,
basically
and...
GTFO when SHTF.
Okay.
Yeah.
I-
So, but we want to like plan these things in advance. Like, what would it look like? What would
Well, I should actually let you guys know, because I know I haven't let any of you guys know this yet, but as of just a couple of months ago, I've started seriously making plans to move to Mexico.
Ooh.
Oh, snap.
Yep. Yo soy practicando mi español. Anybody here speak Spanish fluently?
Más o menos.
Más o menos. ¿Está fluente o no?
Nada.
Oh, okay. I'm actually getting pretty decent at Spanish. I got my uncle lives down there. Basically, I'm going to be living out of a small fishing village called in Michoacan with my uncle. Yep.
Spicy.
Yeah, it's about 3 hours from which is like a main city where my aunt lives.
A lot of murders
And,
there. I'm familiar.
Yeah, and
That's
I've
pretty cool.
I've got a lot of reasons that I want to do this, but the main one is just bug out, dude. I think
I mean, be with your family. Yeah.
I think SHTF is about to HTF. the S is about to HTF. So I don't know. Yeah, that's been my plan. I'm going. My lease is up in February of 2023, and by that time, I'm hoping to have saved up about 10 grand, maybe a little more, and I'm just going to move to Mexico because down there I'll be rich as hell.
That's a good plan. Yeah, it's like, what's the conversion? 14 to 1?
Yeah,
20 to 1, right?
it's like 20 to 1, yeah, to the
Oh,
peso. But
okay.
yeah, I mean, it's cheap, but it's not like a peso is a dollar,
You're right,
It's
you're
like-
right.
It's like it's like a 4 to 1 dollar spending conversion.
What is it? Gallon of gas and gallon of milk?
You can
How
probably
much do
get like
those cost?
40%
I'm
more.
not sure. I
for
haven't
your
actually
food.
looked. You think 40% off?
No, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, just go to Walmart here. You'll be fine.
And the other thing
Just
is
be
I
a
won't have
Walmart
to pay
person.
rent. From what I hear, like these little villages in like very rural Mexico, it's basically like a small village, less than a football field long, right next to like the mouth of a river going into the ocean, and it's a popular surf spot. So there's a lot of people that
okay.
come visit it for surfing.
So if you like just do some hands-on labor, you can marry the daughter that lives in that room, and then you just move in with her. Is that how
Yeah,
it
I can
works?
marry the daughter of the king, and then I can become prince of.
Oh, awesome. I like your 5-year plan. That's awesome.
It's a 1-year plan. He's getting away now.
Yeah, that's a 1-year plan, bro. I'm
Oh,
bugging
okay.
out.
So, David, question. Once you become the king of this civilization, let's say Mexico crumbles and you need to establish your own country, build up those
Would you team
walls.
up with Russia?
Easy.
Now, what?
Easy. Well, yes, I would. I would consider if they're the major world power, if the US is fallen and Russia's like, we have old things and you need things, so you must buy from me. I go, yeah.
Allow
no,
us to have a nuke in your town.
I don't
Cuban
know about
Missile Crisis all over again.
the missile crisis.
They have Kennedy's clone on ice. Like they're gonna bring him out and hopefully shut that down.
So I do have an idea, and maybe this is far-fetched, but I do plan on like working, because basically you can like live there basically for free. There's no rent, people living in like shacks that they build on the beach and like fishing for their food and stuff. But I do plan on like finding like a way to get work and make money, and if I can like establish a place, like maybe get my own shop where I like sell beer, and then because they, like I said, they have a pretty decent tourist population for people like coming to surf. So, and I speak English and hopefully Spanish fluently.
And you're not ugly, so people like looking.
And
at
I'm
you.
not ugly, so
They'll be like, "Ooh, that man over there."
Yeah.
We're talking
so
about-
Maybe
I'll,
we should cut the hair though before you go.
It makes him look like a surfer.
No, this
though.
is very Mexico. This is very Mexico.
Hey.
Yeah, this is very Mexican surf vibe.
Just because you don't find it attractive, Brooke, doesn't mean it's not attractive.
What I said.
Everyone's attractive. Don't body shame him.
No, she's mad because I look too attractive.
That's it. That's what it is. Absolutely.
So regarding society and culture of this civilization, you're something that's coming from the outside in. When you become king, what's your policy on like OnlyFans, you know? What do you think?
Honestly, like by the time I see the mushroom clouds over like off to the north, and I'm like, hey man, that looks like the United States got blown up. I'm gonna be like, you know, fuck it, have your OnlyFans. You know, we only live once, and we might not live
Hey!
long.
Okay. Do you think OnlyFans has contributed to any negative problems in the United States?
No, but it's part of a bigger problem, which is just like the overall level of just like social media
Degeneracy?
hedonism, and like basically unawareness, like what is it called, like ignorance, hedonism and ignorance. I think a lot of social media has caused that to be prevalent in our, I was watching a Monty Python skit that was like a really well done skit, but it takes a little bit of like knowledge to get. And there was like this scene of John Cleese talking about that skit, and he goes, you couldn't do that skit today because people aren't informed enough, like nobody would get it. And I thought that was really kind of eye-opening, because it's true that like this society of social media and all this has really closed our eyes to what's really going on like in the actual world.
Yeah, if you remember that skit, let us know. I'd love to see it.
Oh, it's easy. It's the
Catholics and Christians?
God damn it. No, he was talking about a bunch of philosophers and like making like jokes about him. But it was the first episode of Monty Python's greatest or best Monty Python something. It's a TV show.
Okay.
Monty Python's best skits, something like that. Yeah. Look it up on Netflix. That's where I found it.
David, your changes of opinion are making it really hard for me to argue with you. You're ruining the podcast.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't even need to give, look, I hate to get political here, but I don't even need to give the I told you so on Trump, or on Trump being a better president than Biden. Dude, not like I have very firm opinions that none of this would be happening if we didn't settle on a freaking demented president.
I haven't had the heart to tell anybody the I told you so thing. I've said it in general, but I haven't said it to like
I feel bad. Like
They'd
I
find
feel
excuses.
Yeah, and it's like, do you really just want to start another fight? You know, like with these people that have been fucking like calling you a racist.
And well, in my experience, they'll say something like, well, it's because the Republicans weren't putting on masks because of all this disinformation from Russia, that we couldn't get the economy back together fast enough. So you never gave Biden a chance. Something like that.
So the cool thing is that I can look at you and be like, yeah, no, Biden sucks. You're correct.
On the record, I support the president, whoever it is.
Actually, you know what? I think more in the last probably 3 months. In the last 3 months, a lot of people have like jumped on that, not wagon, but they've been able to say, okay, he sucks.
But electing in a president, I never.
No, let's hear it, Brooke. Let's hear it.
No, this is my favorite thing. The problem in my friend group is I have friends that are like super polarized. I have nobody that like sits nicely in the middle. And one time Thomas made me take a test, and it like put me solidly as a moderate.
Which doesn't exist.
Well, that's my point though. Like, I'm trying to have conversations.
It really doesn't, because the leftists consider
That's
you
the
right
problem with
if
my
you're
group of friends. Like, I can't talk to my friends on the left because they get mad, and I can't talk to my friends on the right because they get mad.
You want to kill babies?
It's very exhausting to be here.
You're a murderer.
But also, when I cast a vote and I elect somebody in, I don't have the intention ever, no matter what side it's on, to praise every single thing they do, which is what, maybe not in this specific group of people, but what I found in a lot of my friends who are on the right side, there was not a single time that they like said Trump did something wrong, ever. Not one time.
Trump is good.
Which is
Everything
not
he does
an
is
accurate
fine.
representation of his presidency. And nobody on the left.
You know why I think? You know why I think
the same with Biden.
I
Hold
understand.
Yeah.
You know why I think that? Because I feel like a lot of people on the right are more, I don't know, just able to view the negatives and the positives. But I think the reason why a lot of people push back on that and they actually say like they defend Trump more is because there's no even view of that on the media.
He gets treated so poorly that you're
Yes.
like, well, I'm obviously assuming that this is He's getting
Like-
bad
like-
flack not because of the thing he did, but because of the view that's already on him.
Okay, so here's where I come to like a little bit of a cognitive dissonance with this whole situation. When you look at the numbers, it's clear that alternative media like Joe Rogan, Jimmy Dore, and even like places like Tucker Carlson, like he's somehow the number one watched, mainstream media
because
TV
it's the only right wing news.
that's like
Right wing.
Yeah.
It's not really.
But so what I don't understand is why Joe Rogan gets 20 million views on a podcast and CNN gets like 500,000 on theirs. And yet still like the prevailing sentiment
Message?
is like when you talk to people is what the mainstream media is saying, when you can clearly see that 20 times or 40 times more people are watching this other guy that is saying something completely different. So it's just that all of these people that are watching Joe Rogan just aren't saying it, or is it the same people that are watching CNN?
I could be totally off base here, but I feel like that definitely is at least part of that is a generational thing.
Yep.
Like my mom is very, very, very conservative and was like a Trump fanatic, not a Trump supporter, and does not watch like anything other than Fox News.
Okay, so she doesn't watch alternative media like
No.
Tim Pool. You guys watch Tim Pool?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I stopped as much because he's very repetitive.
And he's so
he says the same
"The
anecdotes
war
all the
is
time.
Coming.
Yeah, he's fine at first, but then he slowly became intolerable because he repeats the same anecdotes over and over again, and he doesn't let people converse on the podcast.
So
All I have to say about Tim Pool, guys, is buy ready meals. Hey, sponsors, hit us up.
Keto ready vitamins.
Also, he always talks about getting swatted on the podcast, and he just keeps getting swatted because he always talks about it. And he'll even be like, "The police tell us not to talk about getting swatted on the podcast."
But here's
and
my take on
maybe
it.
we shouldn't. But we got.
I mean,
swatted
everybody
on the podcast.
everybody milks it. Everybody milks it. If that happened to us for whatever reason, we would milk the hell out of it too.
Yeah, just a SWAT
Thomas,
member
what's your
comes to
point
each
about what
individual
I
person's
said?
house at the same time.
I was going to say that regarding Brooke's point about being a generational issue, I think most boomers watch the news, mainstream news. And most young people go, well, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to be more enlightened. So they go on other forums. It might be Facebook. It might be, I hope not Facebook, podcasts like Rogan. Jesus, I forgot his first name for a second there. So I think that's the thing. It's mostly the young viewers. That's all it is.
I'll tell you this. I think Rogan is popular with boomers.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
I don't know
'Cause
any
when
boomer that goes
I
on
think it'd
YouTube.
be Gen X. I think it'd be Gen
period.
X.
No,
What do you think,
they do, and it's not YouTube. It's not YouTube. Rogan's main contract is with Spotify now, but still, that's like more of a millennial.
Yeah, I don't know
site.
any
My
boomers
mom
that
has
use
no
either
idea
of
what
those.
Spotify is. There's no way she's gonna go and listen to that.
All I'm saying is when I'm playing Rogan at work and like dads like, all right, just ousted myself. When dads, come
I'll
in.
bleep it.
And they come in and into the store and I'm listening to Rogan on a podcast on the speaker, they'll be like, "Oh, is that Joe Rogan? Did you hear this podcast?" Like they'll talk,
That's
these
Gen
older
X.
guys.
Those aren't boomers.
Yeah.
They're in their fucking 30s or 40s. I don't know.
That's Gen X.
That's
All
X.
right, whatever. All right, whatever.
Well,
Gen X. Okay.
Hold on. 30s is millennial.
They kind of grew up with
Yeah,
him.
30s is
Fear
what-
Factor.
but Gen
50s
X
right now is
We're getting
Gen
old,
X.
huh? It.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, boomers right now are like in their I guess earliest, like youngest, they're like 65 right now, 62.
That's true. Boomers
Yeah.
is the baby boomer generation.
you
But
ask-
they're all gonna die soon, bro. They have like one more voting cycle and then they're out.
Yeah.
That's so rough. Oh my god. Can we not?
Well, I mean, not with the healthcare
Okay,
system
with
here.
all the financial shit that they have done to us, I give no fucks about letting them die peacefully in their mansions.
I
While we
want
starve
all
to
the
death.
boomers that I know to live for a long time. I like. my
Unfortunately, it's not
They
even
also need to
mansions.
leave
It's
us their
like
wealth.
San Jose homes that they're like a 4-bedroom, but they somehow cost like $5 million.
This became a hate platform for boomers.
I think everything online.
Can
is a
we
hate
just
platform for
acknowledge that
boomers.
they totally destroyed our financial system
sure.
and that the collapse of the dollar and the impending doom that's going
But
to
the
happen
thing
because
is-
of it
No,
is
no,
their
I have
freaking
conversations
fault?
with my mom literally constantly who's like, if you just work a little bit harder. My mom bought this house for $800,000 26 years ago, and now it's appraised at 3.2, but in this current market, there's no way that it wouldn't sell for probably 4.
You're not supposed to buy at the top of the market
I
anyway.
know, but my point
yeah,
is,
no, I
that,
understand
like,
your point. I understand your
my
point.
point is
Yeah.
that like in
Corporate
my
Shill
mind,
Thomas
it's like,
coming
you-
at you.
I can't afford
when
a
you
$4 million
buy-
house.
When you buy at the wrong time and it still goes up, yeah.
my
Yeah,
point is,
exactly.
No,
that,
I
like,
agree. Brooke.
he's
Inflation.
like, if you just work harder, if you just do more, I'm like, I can't do anything. That's why I live in one of your bedrooms.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Doug understands that. Doug understands the system has changed compared to when we were
Doug's kind of
kids.
a hippie.
I recognize
Yeah.
it's changed, but maybe it's just me being an optimist and being friendly to all. Well, this is despite some of the things I say. I think they did the best they could at the time, and we're in a very
No,
modern age. It's changing every 3 years.
I think they did the same thing that we would have done if they had a booming economy. They would have taken, you know,
But
the
it wasn't
jobs
just
that
the booming economy too, though. It was the fact that they were the first generation in a while
And they
that
was-
had the majority vote.
yeah.
And
Well, I'm
everybody,
talking like 19,
everybody
like,
votes for their own benefit. So that's what the baby boomers did. It wasn't going to be Gen X because Gen X is way smaller than they are. If it hadn't have been the baby boomers, it would have been the millennials, and we
So
would have
I
voted
see
out
it
the
more
money
as a kicking
for
the can down the road kind of thing. I don't think anybody did it
After
on
Gen-
purpose, kind of like
Gen Z.
what.
Oh yeah, the debt. We definitely kicked that can down the road. I mean, this last budget took 18. We were on
all the pensions,
last year's
all the city
budget for
pensions,
18 months.
all the city
Just-
pensions. Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Oh
guys hear
yeah,
that
the
Congress
debt on
gave
every
themselves a
single
20%
state.
raise.
I mean, like that's when we were talking
21,
about like
yep.
earlier when I made the comment about like, oh, you can definitely oust people, and then we went on from there. Like, I'll admit it, I voted on like social opinions that don't actually affect me; they just affect people that I cared about. But I didn't give two shits about.
But did
economics.
the president that you voted in change any of those policies to better the social outcomes for the people that you were voting for? Because if that's the case, then the vote was well spent. But did it?
Yes, at the beginning, yes.
And then, like, because I
Well,
don't. pay
now it
attention
sucks.
to
Now
those-
everything's going to shit. It doesn't matter. States are voting in their own shit. Like all these new abortion laws that are coming up. I think it's Missouri right now. I was actually talking to my ex-husband, who did bring up a very valid point. We were talking about the one that happened in Texas a while ago, and we were both talking about how f***ing terrible and awful and terrifying it is. But he was like, "That's what the people of that area wanted, and so that's what got voted in." And I do totally understand that. But there's one coming up in Missouri right now that like it just the people who are making these laws have zero understanding about
I
how
disagree,
anything
Brookie.
works.
I think the ones
one
that are
that's coming
making.
up, I'll tell you why I feel that
Whoa,
way if you let me
aggression.
finish talking.
She's an Aries. She's an Aries, everybody. Stand back. Oh, okay. I'll
beat
beat
that.
Aries.
The one that's coming up in Missouri includes in the bill, which is very similar to the one in Texas, that it included in like you can't get abortions for medical reasons. Included in that is ectopic pregnancies, which have a 0% survival rate for fetuses. None. It's not possible. It's when the egg implants itself in the fallopian tube. You cannot have a baby. The baby will never be viable. It is a fetus. It doesn't exist. But it is the number one thing that is the number one thing that causes maternal
wow.
death in this country.
People that have swimmers.
And they put that in the bill, and it is probably going to
This
pass.
is a
They are going
man
to
Hold on,
pass
hold
problem.
on, hold on.
because
There's
they
too
don't
many
know what the
plastics
fuck
in our
they're talking
semen. We
about.
gotta go natural.
Wait, Brookie, you're telling me that the number one cause for pregnant women is a complication with the fallopian
The
tube?
number one cause for maternal deaths in this country,
What's a maternal
or one
death?
of them,
What's a
like when you
maternal
die
death?
when you're pregnant,
Okay.
when
That's
you
the-
die when you're pregnant, is it says so if an ectopic pregnancy is deadly very quickly. So it's much more deadly for people with like less access to healthcare because you don't go and get a scan. You don't see that it's in your fallopian tube. By the time it becomes a problem, it's too late. You have to like go in and get a scan, see that that's where it is. And
Are
like,
ectopic pregnancies like super common?
very
are they-
common, yeah.
Very common. So they're the number. Okay, because what I was looking at is that the number one cause of death for pregnant women is actually murder, which is kind of a scarier statistic. But I didn't see anything about what you're talking about.
What is that per month?
Who's killing them? Husbands that don't want it? They pushing them down the stairs or something?
I don't know. I assume, but yeah.
What is that? What is that number per year?
That's a good question. I don't know. I do know that the number one cause of death for pregnant women is murder. I do not know what the number is though. Thomas, do you want to check real quick while we continue the conversation?
I'm checking right
okay.
now for a top.
Okay, so I agree with you, Brookie, that
In North America,
there's-
it is the leading cause of maternal mortality in the first semester. There you go. Trimester.
maternal mortality in the first semester. How many semesters of maternity are we taking this year?
At least 4.
Okay.
Why are they murdering like I was gonna say ugly people? Why are they murdering pregnant people? I saw that too.
That happened somewhere where I live. It was
Who's
like a
doing
Craigslist
this?
thing. The lady said that she had baby clothes for sale, and the pregnant woman went alone. She should never do when you're buying things off of Craigslist. And she went alone to go get the clothes, and she went inside because the lady was like, "Oh, there's boxes inside, like you can look and whatever." And she went inside, and the lady killed her and cut the baby out of her stomach.
Jesus.
Terrible things happen all the time.
What the f?
I would assume that most pregnant women are killed by their lover or
That's
the person they were dating.
Almost always.
know,
that's
women
most
are killed
murders.
by their-
95% of the time, it's someone they
Yeah,
know.
domestic abuse calls
Right.
are the most dangerous for police officers. So
I mean, the whole Missouri thing, I think is definitely like an overcorrection, and it could be after years of like, I'm not saying it's right that they did that, obviously, because
It seems weird to me.
there needs to be an out. There needs to
Party
be an
that
out for
wants
sure.
such a limited government involvement that they then want that much government involvement, but it's just because it doesn't affect
Well, that's-
their lives.
look, in their
goes back to left
perspective,
and
it's
right.
about life. And no, it goes
But
back
it's
to
not.
religious ideals. It's not
Yeah.
about left and right. No, it's not about left and right.
Yeah.
People who are pro-abortion are almost explicitly religious. I don't know a
Yeah.
single person.
Authoritarian, both sides authoritarian.
Yeah, that's like more, I wouldn't call it authoritarian, but it is, I would call it idealistic. So
Oh, okay.
like dogmatic, right? It's a dogmatic way of thinking.
Hmm.
They have this book that tells them that when a woman gets pregnant, that is now a human, and the rules of the book, 1 + 1 = life. And if you take that away, then you just killed somebody. It's just a dogmatic, simple way of thinking. But to be fair, the left has that too. Believe science. Science, just believe science. Science isn't meant to be believed. Science is meant to be
only
tested.
science they want. Yeah.
Right.
So
Mainstream science.
But on the other
It's-
side, even if you masturbate,
any sort of
that's a baby.
dogmatic belief is bad.
Murder.
Any sort of like thing where you just decide that a rule is the rule and you can't have a conversation about it. Anytime you do that, that's bad.
Can
So
I-
I agree with you, Brookie. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, can I just say one thing? Anybody listening on the podcast, if you're thinking about murdering your spouse or your girlfriend because they're pregnant, just leave. Just leave. If you don't want to pay child support, you don't need to kill her. Just move to
Actually,
a
call
state.
in, and we
Okay.
have we've
We
got
have a-
somebody that we would like you to talk to. His name
She's-
is
Yeah.
he's
so
a very nice detective.
it's a miracle, but if you don't want the miracle, just leave. Someone else will take care of the miracle. Or let it join the foster system. They usually die in there. All right, cool. Good talk. But don't kill the woman. You don't want that blood on your hands. Make the blood on someone else's hands. This is the message from the podcast.
Why are you like this?
Is that like a thing you do?
No.
I'm saving
No.
us from a lawsuit when someone kills their person because we told them to. We're
We
not.
didn't tell
I
them
don't think
to
we-
kill
I don't think
anybody.
We're
we've given
saying
out
it's a
any
number
options.
one
Again.
cut. Well, that's how I perceive it. All right. So
Yeah.
I'm pretending I'm a viewer, and I'm like, I want to kill somebody because they're pregnant.
Don't
That's
say
my
that. They're
baby in
gonna-
there.
They're
I
gonna
want
say
it,
that.
and I
Now
want it
that's-
to
now
record your voice.
Oh
Now
my.
you
Now
said it.
that's what
my
you're
baby
doing,
now.
Thomas.
Oh.
See, that's what you just did.
Don't do that, guys. Don't do it. Just let it go.
They're gonna report you. They're gonna send you to YouTube.
But
YouTube,
but to accept, just to agree with you, Brookie, yes, I agree that certain like cases like that should not be expelled as
But
just
what
like
do we do? Like that, it's looking very likely that bill will get passed.
We split up.
What,
we split up 50 states again, not one country.
yeah. The whole point of having states that have like states always have the power to pass their own laws that surpass the federal government. That's why California was able to legalize weed, and it's still technically you could pass a law that says you're allowed, like you could pass a purge law
As
and
long as
until the
it's not a
federal-
human rights violation.
it feels like a human rights violation. That's why I'm saying, like, they're gonna fucking kill people because they think that an ectopic pregnancy can make a baby. It can't. It literally cannot. That's the type of science we should believe. It's not possible for that to ever become a viable fetus. It will kill its host long before it ever can like be a baby.
So what you're saying is it's a human rights violation.
Yes. Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in that case, the federal government can step in and overturn laws. That's legally what we have in place.
Yeah, but our Supreme Court wouldn't do that.
They did for the Texas heartbeat law. They did for slavery in the 1860s. They've done it a couple times.
We'll see. I think that it's very clear that, look, Rookie, I understand that you have a lot of criticism of this conservative policy, but it is my opinion that some of these liberal policies that we have currently, and the leadership of our great commander in senile chief, has basically led us into World War III. So, I do feel bad for some, states that are passing laws that are going to affect people. But at the end of the day, I think that the overall person is going to be affected much, much worse based off of the liberal policies that we now have in place. And that's just my opinion. I don't know. It's just like, I get it. It's the abortion laws aren't great. And did Roe v. Wade get overturned or no?
No.
Okay. So we still have that. It's still in federal law. So the states are trying to challenge it, right? That's what they're doing with these laws. They must be trying to. They're just going to get. If this bill gets passed, it's not going to get passed into law. It's going to be appealed and then tried to taken up the ranks. Because
but the Texas one did.
They must be appealing it. If Roe v. Wade is still in effect, then
the Texas one was wild because you could sue.
Goes around it.
Like the Uber driver who took her to the clinic. Like,
yeah,
this all seems very backwards.
I also don't know how true. Like, I don't know any Uber drivers that. Maybe you're right, but I don't know any Uber drivers that have been, convicted.
A lot of people in Texas.
No.
Yeah.
But I mean, actually, I do. Actually, I do. I actually do know a lot of people. Not a lot, but I know a few people in Texas.
But that's the whole, all of it is so backwards. So backwards.
We should have a Texan on the show to just really tell us what Texas is all about.
I could probably get a Texan on the show right now. I
also have a Texan that I could probably put on the show. So, okay, but real quick, just because I want to make sure we get this out there. If we start an OnlyFans, our entire podcast, David.
Wait, is this podcast on OnlyFans?
It's such a bad transition.
We're considering. I know it's a bad transition.
We're on all these like cool topics. All of a sudden, OnlyFans comes up again.
I'm sorry. Yeah, it's very important. We missed it. Would you contribute some dick pics to our
No.
OnlyFans?
Are you kidding me? No.
I'm pretty sure if I found an old phone from high school or middle school that I could find it.
If we used your dick pics without your consent, would you?
You're gonna get sued.
Oh, he's gonna sue us.
No, we won't put his face in it.
Got a lawyer on retainer.
That could be anyone's.
Because you're gonna put the name.
That could be anyone's high school dick. Oh, that's kiddie porn. We can't.
I'm gonna do it the same way they found John McAfee.
We can't use those.
Damn, so close. All right, what were we talking about before this?
OnlyFans. David's gonna make an OnlyFans.
No,
not happening.
But even before OnlyFans, when Oscar said you ruined a perfectly good topic.
Abortions.
We were talking about abortion laws.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about abortion laws.
What other laws do we have problems with, like unilaterally, that we just don't want in Utopia?
I have a problem here. Here's a tangent. I've got a problem with the United States making it illegal to melt nickels.
But they put so much money and time into it.
Yeah, but nickels are worth more than a nickel.
Yes.
As of like 3 weeks ago. They weren't worth more than a nickel a couple months ago, but as of right now, a nickel's worth like 9 cents in just like its melt value. By the way, first precursor to hyperinflation. When your coin value starts to become worth more in its metal weight than it is in its dollar value.
That is a sign. I agree with you there. I did not know that it's worth more now. I know the penny's always been worth more, or it costs more to make than it's worth.
So that's old pennies. Pennies now are made out of zinc. They're like worthless.
Is that the Obama one? The 20
anything up to like 1988 pennies, something like that.
Whoa, really? Oh, I didn't realize it was that far behind.
It might not be. It might be more like maybe. I know that silver wasn't in quarters past 1964.
1982. It changed from
1982.
copper to zinc. Yeah.
Yeah. And then look up, but nickels, this is the interesting thing. Nickels forever have been made out of 75% copper and 25% nickel. And if you look at I'm sure you guys don't know this, the United States actually paused nickels trading, the trading on the nickel metal, because it went up 250% in one day. So like the futures markets just shut down. And this is all in response to sanctions against Russia. So in one day, the price of a nickel, basically like the melt value, the metal inside of a nickel, doubled in value in one day. It went from about like 3.5 cents to about 7 cents, and now it's sitting at about 8 cents.
So I know this is like a loose tangent, but in your utopia, would you consider using rare metals as your currency?
Absolutely.
No.
that was what I was going to say
Okay.
when we got off the topic, but yeah.
Did you want to use copper? What material would you like to use?
I like the World of Warcraft method.
Online?
Yeah, like no, like the currency
you can
in
mine
World of
it.
Warcraft.
Okay.
No. Just think about like how you buy things in World of Warcraft. You have copper pieces, 10 copper. You have like 100 coppers worth 1 silver, 100 silvers worth 1 gold. A metric coin system, something like that.
I think the Romans had it was 10, right? 10
Yeah.
silver. 10 silvers for a gold coin.
10 silvers for a shilling. I mean, even the Brits had it. They had shillings and gold pieces, and like shillings were originally the silver. They were silver shillings, and I think it was 10 shillings to a gold piece or something, or 20 shillings to a gold piece. But yeah, I would pull a Gaddafi. What's up, Brookie?
Oh, I was just saying I like oranges for blowjobs. So
Jesus.
Gotta prevent scurvy.
I like that too, but you can do any. That's a service-based industry. My economy would be commodity driven, so I would like to have like obviously precious metals, but also maybe like some sort of like agricultural, some sort of like farming or fishing.
I eat 2 oranges a day, so I would appreciate it if it wasn't a blowjob. Cost that. I mean,
Only 2
even a back rub sounds excessive. I like fruit. Sorry.
Yeah, fruit is cheap too. A blowjob for an orange is pricey.
Yeah,
I do
yeah.
like a blowjob for like a burger.
Yeah.
Does a
For a
blowjob for a
burger?
burger work?
Sure.
Meat for meat.
I don't eat burgers.
It adds up.
so-
Yeah. You don't eat burgers? Do you eat meat still or no?
I got when I was pregnant with Zachary, it was one of the things that like my body was like, no. When I was pregnant with a baby,
You didn't like meat? What about like fish and stuff?
fish was fine, but you can't eat a lot of fish when you're pregnant.
Mhm.
High mercury.
Yep, mercury.
levels. So I don't know. It didn't really ever come back. I'll eat it sometimes. I like bacon.
Bacon is good. Bacon's delicious.
But like if I didn't have to eat meat again for the rest of my life, I'd be okay. I wouldn't cry about it. I don't actively eat it. It's not like an ethical thing. I just
No, I love
Trying to
meat.
say you're better than us?
no. That's why I specified that it wasn't an ethical
Just because
thing.
you're vegan?
my
Definitely.
girlfriend doesn't eat meat because she likes animals.
You need to consider dating a tomboy then, maybe. Someone a little butchier, might wear basketball pants in the bedroom.
Well, that's part of going to Mexico.
He's talking about a lesbian.
What? You're gonna find like a Luisa from Encanto?
I was like, oh, you just described
Society
Bella's
right now.
girlfriend.
Big hairy vagina.
Described
Arr.
me.
And then
Rent
the
a boat.
apocalypse happens, and then you capture them, and then
Capture them. What
No,
the
we're
I'm sorry. I'm watching. I'm
Jesus.
watching
You're
The
watching
Walking
The
Dead right now.
Road? Oh, Walking Dead. That's what the
There's all
Well,
these thoughts
I
in
like
my
her.
head.
She
like-
likes my Instagram.
slavery, but it's
posts,
only
so
women.
Look, I do really like my girlfriend, and Brookie, it's not a waste of time. We very much enjoy each other's company. But when I do take this major transition in my life, like I'm scared to go live in Mexico, but I'm committing to it. But it also
For how long?
a year is what I'm committing to.
We got it all figured out. We'll have our place in West Virginia by then.
Who knows, man? If I get some shit going down there, because I'm a pretty personable person, and like if I can speak Spanish and English, it's a bit of a tourist spot. I could probably get some shit going down there if I really tried. So who
You
knows?
work out, you get a surfer body, you get picked up by a talent agency
Talking
in New
about-
York, you get
talking
moved,
about
you
money.
move back here. Yeah.
Why ever move back, dude? I feel like
Because you miss
lifestyle-
paying taxes here. You love paying taxes here. It's
And
like,
rent.
what,
Dude,
40%?
rent and taxes.
It's so great.
Oh, nice. I love all my income going to shelter and food.
And those quarterly tax returns coming to California next quarter.
Wait, what?
David, can I ask a question?
Yes,
that's
sir.
like, was your mom a dual citizen or just a citizen here?
Dual.
Does it make it easier then for you to get your citizenship there if you wanted to?
In Mexico?
Yeah.
I could probably be missing a leg and still get my citizenship in Mexico.
I don't know what that has to do with
They'll
it.
accept anybody. Like you don't to apply.
How hard is
Mexico
it?
Isn't like not hard at all.
I've never looked into it.
Especially if you have family out there. Look, you could
You have to
apply
pay
for a work
taxes
visa.
if you work here. If you work here, do you have to like if you work and live here, do you have to pay like taxes?
When you say here, do
on
you
that?
mean the United States?
Yeah.
No, that's actually the reason why a lot of people live in Mexico and send money back. Because when you send the money back, it's like tax free. They pay taxes in the United States, but it has so much buying power down in Mexico that
Right.
the taxes are basically irrelevant. It's like a quadruple paycheck.
I may need to apply just to have an escape plan in case shit hits the fan here.
Do you have a bug out bag? Does anybody here have a bug out
my
bag?
God,
Oh,
you sound like
everybody.
Travis. Jesus Christ.
I bring this up sometimes on first dates, which I probably should.
Yeah.
You bring up your bug out bag on.
I
first
bring it up on the
dates?
second.
I don't have the core things, but I have a bag with like legal documents, and I don't know why.
I don't think you're gonna
Hard
need
hard
those.
drives with like family photos on it, stuff like that.
See, I always
Aw.
Like a
CIA
long-term bug out
documents.
bag. It's like if my house burns down. That's the reason for my bug out bag. It's not like earthquake and I need to like have a way to bandage myself. I need to have some food and some water. No, I'm just worried about fires. Get everything out in like 10 seconds. I can do that.
that's
pretty
smart
much.
to have. Yeah.
Grab 2 laptops.
But do you
and
have
then
like
the bag.
food rations?
No, I'm hoping that society doesn't collapse. My bug out bag
Uh,
isn't prepared for that. Only
I
for
have a-
fire.
I have a-
You should start
have about a
hoping
year.
less.
I have about a year.
Me too.
year's worth
I've got
of,
exactly about a
rations.
year.
I
Just for
wanna-
one person, though.
I don't want to live through that. What the someone needs to come take me out first. No. Mm-mm.
Brookie, I promise you, Mexico is going to be so chilling during nuclear war. We're going to be so far away from the fallout.
Wait,
Like,
wait,
if you
wait.
guys
I
want
can
a
get there
bug out
quick.
location, southern Mexico. Just
But-
fucking drive
Well,
your
go
But what
live with
about-
me.
What about nuclear winter?
Nuclear winter.
We'll deal with that when it
White
comes. Hopefully
Walkers.
By then, we have at least a couple months. Maybe we can like steal and like rob enough food to survive us through nuclear winter.
You guys said you fit a year worth of food inside your bag?
No.
No, nobody said that.
What'd you say? You said you had a year's of food.
I said
He
maybe
asked
we could
about- he
rob
asked
rob
about
and
go
steal.
bags.
No. Back at
He
the
asked, he asked about go bags, and then he said, "Do you guys have food rations?"
Oh, that's if you were hunkering down in your own house. Okay.
No,
Okay.
or you could. I mean,
I
yeah,
thought you fit a
probably could-
year worth of food in your bag, and I'm like, what the kind of Harry Potter, Hermione Granger shit
What
are
is
you
the-
pulling
what
here?
is the bread from Lord of the Rings? What is the elven bread? We need that.
Mana? No, I don't know.
No.
There's so much
Lembas,
hate mail coming in
Lembas.
right now.
Lembas.
Yeah, thank you. See, Oscar gets it.
We've mentioned
Nerd at
Lord of the
heart.
Rings twice now in our podcast.
Okay, so prediction time. Let's do. You know how Bill Maher does like future headlines. You know what
No.
you guys don't
Oh,
know?
what
No.
Thomas does
I don't
on
listen to him.
Facebook, where he like writes out what he thinks is going to happen in like the next year.
Yeah. All right.
It's
Future-
not wrong yet.
Future headline: Cockroach bread surpasses FDA approval.
Ah,
For-
cricket.
Cricket
protein.
powder
It's already.
has.
It's
There's
already.
they already have seed A funding on multiple cricket companies.
Cricket bread. It's already out. You're close though.
I agree with that though.
I think a
Cockroach,
Mexican
though.
started that though.
Mexicans?
Yeah, there was
Really?
definitely
They
started.
they sell
South
roasted
America. Not the
Yeah.
Mexicans. That's
Okay.
racist. It was the South
Okay.
Americans.
the native people.
The Latin people, bro. The Latins.
Hey,
The Latinos.
they didn't have any borders. They just had like killing zones. So they kind of all blended in together. You know.
You don't know if it's
Can we
cockroach meat.
backtrack a little
horse
bit? Will
meat,
somebody
human
come
meat?
kill me if we go into an apocalypse? Because I won't make it.
No, Snowpiercer, you'll be fine. You just eat
You
the
don't know that,
crickets.
Rookie.
Eat the protein
Yeah, I
powder.
do. I don't have any of the skills. None of them. 0%.
You have
will I
birthing
make it
hips.
through.
You can create our
Just go
army.
crawling back to your ex-husband and maybe
you
you'll
know what?
survive.
Thank God my boyfriend is not on the call anymore. Yeah.
You're a source of knowledge, and you're really good at understanding both sides, not playing both sides. It sounds like you're manipulating wars.
Okay, here's a question, Brooke.
It's all me.
Here's a question: can you manipulate someone for your better good? I guess for your survival.
Yes.
Wait,
anybody
can
who
you
knew
or
me-
Mm-hmm.
should you?
No, can she? I'm asking if she's gonna be
anybody
Anybody
who
able to
knew me
survive.
anybody who knew me in middle school and high school knows that I am a expert manipulator. So
That
yes.
is true.
yes, I
Okay,
can.
you're in a situation where
You
somebody
say you
comes
can fly the plane.
somebody comes to rob you.
Yeah,
And there's
fly
a,
the
there's
plane.
a
The
knife on the
pilot's dead.
ground and somebody falls right next to you. Like the person that's robbing you falls right next to you. You know that if they take away your food, you can't survive for the next 3 weeks.
Blowjobs for oranges.
Would you defend yourself?
Would I offer blowjobs for oranges? Yes.
This person's a girl and she doesn't like you. She likes dick. So
She's trying to kill you.
there's no way around it. Yeah.
Do
You
I
gotta-
have
you
a
gotta-
weapon?
but she-
Do I have something to
Yes,
use?
there's a knife on the ground.
you
There's,
guys-
there's a knife on the ground.
Oh, yeah, I slit
she
the
somehow
throat. It's fine.
okay. I think you're gonna do better than you give
Nah.
yourself credit for.
No, best option in a real life scenario like that is not to fight, it's to run.
But she fell next to me and I can reach the knife. Yes. I'd
Right.
slit
This
bitch's
is
throat.
like a rating party gone wrong.
I will not be able to run away. I
Always
won't
loot the
make it
body.
fast enough.
Check the butthole.
If I have the opportunity to kill someone and it that's it's either kill or be killed, fine. Sure, I could probably, if I had the ability to do so and I had the upper hand, probably.
Yeah.
That's why I always like the depictions of like end of the world stuff, because you never know. I like how they always depict like the lawyer or like the baker that like all of a sudden had it in them to like lead and take charge and just like
Yeah. But they call them hero stories because they're rare, like most people, like if you're
Yes.
talking about like a realistic like life or death war scenario, someone's pointing a gun at you, the most likely like
That you're dead?
95%
Yeah.
of people, no, it's not that you're dead, you're not going to even fight back, you're going to literally, I'm not even talking like metaphoric, you're going to literally hit yourself and piss yourself and start crying and that's an old war motif. Back in World War II, there was like this quote. It was like,
I don't
Sergeant,
think I would shit myself.
Sergeant, I just shit myself, or Sergeant, I just pissed myself. And Sergeant goes, welcome to war, son. And then like they kept going.
I
No,
might
that's a
piss
real thing.
myself. I might piss myself. I don't know. I don't think I would shit myself.
You definitely shit yourself when you die. I don't know if
Right.
you do it before.
Yeah.
If I had to poop, I might shit myself in that scenario.
That's true, actually. Yeah.
I'd only do it to prevent getting molested.
So
right?
this might
That's
be
like the thing. That's what we're taught to do. Like if you're
Yeah.
about to get raped, they're
You
like, you should poop
yourself
and
and
pee
you
yourself.
smear it all over. Like you clench and
that's like a prison tip, right? Like you
it's
want to
a
make sure
natural
you're
instinct. Yep.
you're,
That-
sleep,
prison
you're,
tip.
you're,
Locker
you're
room,
smelling funky
you're
all
a
the
child,
time.
yep.
Yeah, you don't
Always
take
Prison tip.
showers.
I was taught that in 6th grade when we were taken separate from the boys in PE and taught what to do if we were ever in a scenario
Was
where
that
we were
really?
about to be raped.
What the hell?
I think that
In 6th grade?
perpetuates rape
Women like to
culture or
be
not.
anxious about everything, and so
Yeah, like-
they're just always worried.
That
As if there's real
What
fear
the-
out there.
We like to be worried all the time.
I don't know what it is. It's almost like they're afraid of something.
Oh my God, what could we possibly be scared of?
Making 20
Yeah,
cents
all of
less
us,
on the
all of
dollar.
us disgusting
What?
men.
David,
Yeah.
I was reading something the other day. And it was a very good example. It was a very good example of like how women feel constantly. I trust my boyfriend and my dad, and like the article was like, she was like, I trust my fiance and my dad and my brother more than anybody in the world. They're the nicest men ever. Like they're so trustworthy. They're so kind. Like they've never done anything wrong. If one of them snapped and killed me, my last thought would be like, yeah, that makes sense. Like it's so prevalent. You have no
What?
fucking idea how
Well, that
prevalent
to me
it is.
sounds like a mental disorder.
Well, that's because you've never had to experience shit like that. And I'm very happy for you. that
Well,
you
I've
haven't.
probably experienced I've experienced some pretty crazy shit when I was living out of that hotel and you know, like I've experienced some pretty crazy shit.
Wasn't
I
that a
probably
trap
won't go into.
house?
It was basically a drug dealer den.
Yeah.
Oh, so you
Um,
experienced crazy shit in a drug dealer den, like most
Yeah,
women do walking down the fucking street.
Is violence against men more prevalent?
It is.
I want to say it's 50-50, but what do I know?
It's not. No, violence against men is way more. Yeah.
No, I think it is, and it's like 70-30. I'm just a big fan of statistics. It is, and it's like 70% 30
of
or
bar
60-40 or
fights.
something. But
Okay.
yeah, and yeah, it's because men are fucking stupid. Yeah, for sure, I agree. But
Yeah.
and I
And
think
I like to think
most violent deaths are
And
also.
they punch each other in the face and then be like, no, it's
Well, those are the
fine."
ones that don't die. But yeah, I think most violent deaths are like men.
Okay, there's this weird trend on TikTok right now where it's like this song that's trending, and it's a bunch of like fucking teenage boys, and it says like, imagine if, and then they describe a date, and then they describe a wildly graphic way to kill their date.
Is that a kink?
Um,
I don't know how to find that for you.
Brooke said everything's a kink.
Oh,
everything
God,
is
I
a-
hope not.
Sorry, Brooke.
That's right, Oscar. It is the strike.
I
light.
got a good memory. Also, Tom made me watch the damn show like 5 times.
Sorry.
It started as a trend to talk about like intrusive thoughts, but just turned into men like making up ways that they would like kill their date.
What is
and
wrong
has
with
just,
people?
Like, taken over that side of TikTok. And
But see,
there's a lady who like stitches every video and like we'll just pull up a headline of someone dying, like a woman dying in that exact manner. And like the entire generation that's like part of this trend, which is Gen Z, is just like, I mean, like, it's just a joke. It's just funny.
isn't Gen Z the ones that like everything offends them? So why wouldn't this offend them?
No, I don't know. I can't tell if Gen Z is super based or super sarcastic.
I don't think they're
They're
based
super
at all.
sarcastic, and
I
it
think,
is
yeah.
the people who are in like the group that are the most offended by everything is like the oldest Gen Zers and the youngest millennials.
Yeah, the millennials are f***ing
Oh,
insane.
interesting.
Us.
So, like,
we're
us,
the
like,
baddies.
like
you know, Christian's
90
actually like that. Christian's like turning 19 next month.
Yeah.
Or 2 months from now. And he's like that. He's like super like better than thou. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
he's like always very, but he's also not.
How old is
he's
the
not a
oldest
good-
Gen Zer?
25.
Depends what website you
Okay,
use.
so that
95 is the last year for millennials.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
So
Pretty really?
95ers are 26.
Well,
this
that
year,
would
or
mean that
27.
millennials can't be 30.
Why?
No, millennials can. This is Gen Z, the oldest Gen Zer.
No, earlier you guys said that millennials were in their 30s, but Brookie
Yeah.
just said that millennials ended at
well,
95.
I guess it would
No,
be
no,
the
no, no,
oldest.
no, no. The
oldest
first year for
millennials.
millennials is 95. So going down, that's the end. That's what I was saying. Because we were
Oh.
talking about
It's
Gen
like
Sorry, that
85
was
to 95,
Got it.
something like that.
The first year for Gen Zers is 95.
is 95. That's why like our generation is kind of weird. We're cuspers. So that makes us different than the oldest ones and different than the generation below us. It's like a weird place to be.
81 to 96.
Honestly, things are moving so fast that I think that we're just like a fucking mosh posh of social media propaganda and hedonism and fucking TikTok dances.
And also our
mad
knowledge.
about hedonism for? What does that mean to you?
Do you know what hedonism means?
Yes. But what does that like?
The pursuit of pleasure over important things. When you
Oh, you guys drinking alcohol.
What do you consider important?
knowing about, like, for example, maybe having an opinion on a war that you know something about.
That's fine, but that's your opinion. Like it's not even that I don't agree with you, but I'm saying that's what you consider important. Why are you saying that everybody else has to consider that important? And if they do, it's hedonistic and not.
Because there are some things that are objectively important, and there are some things that are objectively not important.
Which is an opinion.
No, that's not. There's like,
Yes,
okay. Is it objectively important to know how to launch a satellite into space?
No.
It's not? There's no objective importance
Not
to
for
it?
the average person, no.
Really? So you'd be fine if we had no satellites?
I
and
don't
a
know.
cell
I
phone
don't know
didn't
how to
work?
launch a satellite into space.
Yeah, but you have a cell phone, and you use satellites so that your cell phone works. So there was an importance to it. There was an objective importance.
But what does that have to do with like the everyday person's average opinion, and why is that? Why is
Because when the average everyday person spends most of their time doing stuff that doesn't either like make them more productive in society or make them smarter with their relationships with other people, or if you're just like indulging in media all day.
I'm gonna add on to I'm gonna add to onto what Derek. I even forgot your name now.
David.
Thank you.
I was getting it right the whole day.
I appreciate it, Omar. Thank you.
You know what? Maybe you shouldn't have at the coder school as your damn name tag.
It
Oh,
does
that's
say that.
hilarious. I haven't worked there in months.
Yeah, maybe change it.
I
Quick settings thing.
I wonder if I could just sneak.
No,
into,
but
like,
but
some
so
lessons.
I think these generations are leading into pleasure more, and what does that exactly mean? It means that they don't like to have difficult conversations because
less informed as well.
but that's the result of it, right? But why are they like that? Because they lean into the pleasure. They lean into the ease of stuff.
I would
That's-
also say that there's an indoctrination aspect inside of the school systems, which I truly do believe. CRT is a real thing, and there's litigation to, it started even when we were kids with what was it called? No Child Left Behind was a policy back in the early 2000s when we were in middle school. Maybe it was the late 2000s, but it was the whole idea was making the curriculum easier so that people that weren't passing classes could pass.
So you
And
can get
we've
your funding.
so we've been funding basically the dumbing down of our youth for a very long time. It used to be that a 13-year-old kid in the 1950s knew how a combustion engine worked. Nowadays they only know how TikTok works, and our like parent generation's like, oh, look how smart he is with a computer. It's like, the kid doesn't know anything. They're using a product.
Brooke, I know you're going to want to talk about critical race theory, but we don't have any
don't.
time. So he gets to
I
say what
don't
he gets
wanna
to
talk
say.
about
That was his final thoughts.
All right.
I wanted to thank you, David, for being here today. If I had like a silver dollar or a coin on me, I'd give it to you and say thank you so much for contributing. We really love you and value your opinion. We'll definitely have you back on if you've got more fun things. I heard you had an accent you wanted to share, though, before we left.
Mad Vlad, yes.
Oh,
Yes, Russian general.
oh, okay.
Currently engaged in training operations in the Ukraine. Vladimir Zelensky, very nice person. We talking, and I tell you soon.
Okay.
Before you leave, can you say battle cruiser operational?
Battle cruiser operational.
That's a nice ring.
Starcraft
This sounds really
reference.
good with the mic. Well, thank you all. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Remember to like and subscribe. Dang it. Brooke, wake your kid up so we can have him do it.
Oh my god, he's so
I'm
cute.
It's like in the middle of his nap cycle. You should just do the air horn and we'll wake him up.
He's half an hour into REM sleep.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Is that child abuse? That's not gonna be child abuse.
No, it's only if you do it for like over a week straight.
Like, yeah, 2 nights in a row.
Yeah. It's just like
Okay.
there's like a limit.
Okay. Cool. Awesome. Remember that everything we say in this podcast is not real, and we can't be sued because we don't believe in anything we're saying.
Parody.
All right. Yeah, absolutely. All right. We'll see you guys next time. Deuces.
Bye.
Bye. All right.
No, that doesn't actually mean leave. That means we're done
Yeah.
with the podcast.
Yeah, now we can
Yeah,
talk
yeah.
freely.
Yeah.
Stop
yeah.
recording,
Okay.
Tom.
Oh, sorry.